Hello guys, it's the FIFA Bros, and today we are back again with another video. And today's video is going to be, obviously you can tell from the title, so it's going to be the Premier League prediction table 2021-22 season. Now you guys have been asking for me to do this, and I thought, well, you know what, well, why not just do it? My hair, by the way, is an absolute mess, and I do apologize. I know what's going to happen. People are going to get annoyed because I didn't put your team in a higher position or, you know, whatever, but it's a prediction, okay? I predict 3 teams to get relegated. So I have to predict the team to win the title. That's how prediction goes. If you get annoyed, alright, you know, that's how it is. You know, I just have to predict. And if you guys are coming to my channel for the very first time, do smash that subscribe button. We do obviously stream every single day, and I get some videos out here, you know, here and there, and do drop a like so you can show some support on this video, of course, as well. So, you know, we're gonna get straight into it. Without any further ado. We're just gonna get straight into it. So the first team that I'm going to predict is going to be Norwich. Now Norwich are a team that obviously got promoted from the Championship last season, newly promoted team. But the thing is with Norwich is they always get relegated the first season they get promoted back into the Premier League. And in my opinion, it's no different this time around. They're going to get relegated, and I predict a last place position as well. Now obviously one of the star players, I think it was the player of the year, wasn't it? Buendia. He was obviously a big player for Norwich, and obviously he's moved over to now Aston Villa, so obviously that's a big move for him, but it's a big loss for obviously Norwich. And obviously they did bring in a French midfielder by the name of, I'm not saying his name, is it Le Melou? If there's any French guys in the watching this video, can let me know in the comments down below how to actually say his name. Came in from, I believe, Nice, wasn't it? And he does bring experience to it, I guess, to the Norwich team, but would that be enough really to keep them up? I wouldn't think so. Obviously they did bring in, obviously on loan, Billy Gilmore. It's a big ask to say for him to, you know, keep Norwich up in the Premier League. I don't think he'd be enough. Another sign they obviously brought in was obviously Rashika to obviously replace Buendia, and he's actually a good signing, costing near around £10 million for him. And you know, will he be enough to really replace Buendia? I mean, obviously time will tell, but I just don't think they have enough in them to really keep themselves up. I decided to go for Watford. Now Watford, obviously another newly promoted team that came back into the Premier League. Not too long ago they were in the Premier League themselves, just like Norwich, but I think they're going to go back straight down. Now in the transfer window for Watford, they did bring in a striker by the name of Dennis, coming from Club Brugge. In terms of other transfers, they also made a transfer with Danny Rose, which, yes, he's got experience in him, but not a lot of quality anymore. If you're talking about 5 years ago, then maybe you could say it's a very good signing, but in 2021 with Daniel Rose, it's not a great signing in my opinion. Not a lot of quality in that, but there's a bit of experience, I guess, from that signing. And also they did bring in Joshua King. Now he was a player that played for Bournemouth and Everton in the past. Obviously he's got that Premier League experience with him, but again, I just don't think he has that much quality to do something with Watford. One thing you gotta know as well from Watford in the Championship last season, they did actually in fact have the best defensive record in the Championship, which is actually a pretty decent stat, but it's a whole different new experience. Now heading to 18th position, which is obviously the last position for the relegation, I'm gonna have Brighton. Now Brighton have been the Prem for the last few seasons, and you know, this could maybe be a bit of a shock for you guys. I reckon Brighton will be relegated. They obviously did lose Ben White, obviously he did head over to Arsenal. They do have a long patch where they just struggle to get a lot of points in them. I really do think in the next season, in 2021-22 season, they're gonna have a period where it's gonna be very difficult for them. I think it'll go down to the last few games of the season, and I think that's where they're going to officially be confirmed to get relegated. They do have a good playing style with Graham Potter, with a lot of pressing play style and quick football, but the quality isn't there for them. I just see them not being able to stay up. Now to 17, the team that's about to stay up in the Premier League. I'm going for Brentford. Have a decent squad, not a lot of quality, but a decent enough squad. But obviously the big man, you know, the star man, the man that's gonna have a lot of spotlight in him, in this certain team especially, is also going to be Tony. And they also made a good signing with the name of Iger. I think it says his name. I'm probably saying that name wrong. I'm very bad with pronouncing names, which I do apologise for. But I'd see, obviously he is a centre back that came from Celtic, and he did attract interest from the likes of Bayer Leverkusen and Milan in the past. So I do see him being a good signing, being a solid defender. 16th position, Newcastle. They might have a few moments where they're going to be quite worried whether they actually go down or not, but I do think they will stay up. Like they've done the past few seasons now, to be fair, where they just managed to stay up, even though they've had a few moments where it's been very shaky. But I think they will stay up regardless. But obviously with Steve Bruce as their manager, who, don't get me wrong, I do think he does get criticised more than he should, in my opinion. I don't think he's actually done a terrible job. Now, the playing style isn't what Newcastle fans want to see, and their playing style is pretty bad. I mean, it's not great. It's boring, but it does sometimes get the points in, of course. And honestly, I feel Saint-Maximin deserves a better club than Newcastle, in my opinion. The playing style does not suit him whatsoever, and if they didn't have someone like Saint-Maximin, I would easily have them battling for the relegation zone. Coming in 15th position, I'm going for Crystal Palace. Obviously, they did get a new manager in, Patrick Vieira. Obviously, as a footballer, he's one of the best midfielders in the Premier League history. As a manager, haven't seen a lot of him. I don't know exactly what he's going to do with Crystal Palace. I think with Patrick Vieira, it is a gamble to bring him into the Premier League with Crystal Palace. With the likes of Gary Cahill, Townsend, Van Aanholt, and it's a lot of players they've got their contracts expire and then renew it. So in terms of those kind of like a depth, really, I'm kind of concerned about. But obviously we'll have to wait and see how the season goes on with the injuries and everything like that. But I think they'll do fine. I think 15th position will be alright for Crystal Palace. I'm going to say Burnley is going to be 14th position for the new season. I think Burnley are a team that have always really just kept themselves in the Premier League. They're the most shithouse club I've ever seen, really. But they always get the job done. And I think they will have another season where it's just really not much going on. But they're just there. They're just there in the Premier League. And I think the 14th position will be for Burnley. Obviously, I was going to say Steve Bruce. Sean Dyche has done madness really in Burnley throughout the years. And hats off to him, because the fact he can really get the team into the Premier League and stay there. With the quality of their squad, it's not that great if you look at it. But the quality of their squad and the way how he does the job with Burnley, fair play. Even though Burnley really do get my head going whenever Chelsea do play against them, they are a good team. They're a good team. They're well organised, and I think 14th position will be alright for them. I don't think they'll be any lower than that, and I think they'll be in 14th position. Now 13th position, and this could really hurt me. This one, I really don't know how this is going to go. This could go really good or really bad in my opinion, but I think Southampton is going to be 13th position. Now the reason I'm saying this, as to whether it be really good or really bad, Danny Ings obviously did leave Southampton to go to Aston Villa, and that is kind of big. It really came out of nowhere as well. That's the thing. But he did join Aston Villa. That's a big loss for Southampton right there, considering most of their goals is coming from Danny Ings. Also, do bear in mind Danny Ings is injury prone, but when he's fit and he's playing, he's really clinical. And to have someone like him leave the club, that's a big loss. Now, in signings Armstrong and Broja, which I think Broja just there for squad depth, really. He's a youngster, he's on loan. There's not really much for him, I think, this season. I don't think he's going to have that much game time anyways. But with Armstrong coming in, he could have a major impact. But one thing I've got to say is I think Che Adams could have a really good season. I see him scoring at least 12 or more goals in this season. I think he's going to have a really good season for Southampton. Obviously, Armstrong is obviously there too. I think their partnership together will be good, in my opinion. And if they do keep Ward-Prowse as well, that'll be also a big bonus for them too. I'm saying 15 goals. I'm going as far as that. I think Che Adams will have a really good season, and I'm saying he's going to score 15 goals. 12th position, I'm going to say Wolves. Obviously, they did bring in a new manager by the name of Bruno Lage, I want to say his name is. Obviously, came in from Benfica. Obviously, been there for half season, basically. And I think, he's got a good playing style. He's obviously playing the 4-4-2, which I don't know exactly how that's going to go. If he does play the 4-4-2, it's not guaranteed, but if he does play the 4-4-2, obviously Wolves did play with a 3 at the back, 5 at the back, depending on when they're attacking and defending. But I think with Bruno Lage coming in, he could be a very good addition to this Wolves as the manager for Wolves. I think he will do a good job. Obviously, Raul Jimenez, which was a big loss for Wolves last season, obviously with that head injury a few seasons ago, even people were talking about being then breaking into the Champions League spots and everything, but it's just kind of falling apart. Obviously, with Jota leaving as well, it's obviously a big loss. In my opinion, they're going to have to keep the likes of Ruben Neves as well, because he's also a good player, and I do rate him in real life. I think he's a really good player. 11th position, and this is a team that did really, really good last season, but I think they're going to just drop off a bit this season, is going to be West Ham. I think West Ham are a team that did really well, very good actually last season. They almost got into Champions League spots. That's how crazy their season was. Even from the very start of the season, majority of people, including myself, did think that Wolves are going to get relegated. They did finish in Europa League spot, so which is great for them, but however, I think the Europa League will hurt them in the league, and I think they will finish in 11th spot. Jesse Lingard was very good for them last season. He's not there for them in this new season, of course. He's just there on loan. With some of the transfer window action from West Ham, obviously they did bring in Areola, which obviously is on loan from Paris Saint-Germain, which obviously could be a very good signing. I don't know if he'll do very good. He was with Fulham last season. He did pull off. I still remember he did pull off a decent amount of good saves for Fulham. And with this West Ham team, he might even, he might do really well with them. And I probably do see him doing pretty good. I don't expect him to concede that many goals. And obviously one of the players that did departure was Philip Anderson. First season for them, he did really good. Apart from that, did absolutely nothing, and he's just returned to Lazio. Also with Declan Rice, will he stay with them till the end of the transfer window? We'll have to wait and see. I think he will. I think the price tag is a bit too much for their team, so I think they will just pull out of it and not, try to pick him up for the price that West Ham will be asking for. Now, halfway through the table, we're going to go for Leeds now. I think Leeds are a good team and a very exciting team to watch. They do press a lot. With Bielsa, they've got a lot of stamina in them. They did that through the whole season, and fair play for that, and they kept it up, and they did really well overall in the season. Now, with the signings coming in, Junior Firpo coming in from Barcelona for £13 million. Semedo, when he came in from Wolves, just wasn't that. He was okay. He was pretty deep, just nothing that great. And I think the same thing with Firpo. Actually, in fact, maybe a bit worse, I think, in my opinion. I don't think Firpo's going to be that great of a signing, in my opinion. Now, obviously, with the signings, obviously, with Lewis Bay being a youngster, which I think would be a good signing. Not for this season, no, but for the future, definitely. And obviously, Jack Harrison as well, permanently signing for Leeds. Obviously, he had a really good season last season, an absolute baller, in my opinion. 10th position, not too bad, I guess. I think Leeds fans will take that. Brentford will continue scoring goals for Leeds, and I think he'll do pretty good for them in the 21-22 season. So I'm going to say 10th for Leeds. I think that's where they're going to finish off. 9th position, I'm going to say Everton. Obviously, Carlo Ancelotti, who used to be the manager last season for Everton, did a pretty good job. I mean, the very start of the season, they were doing so good. They were first at one point even as well. They kind of fell off a bit, and towards even the latter stages, they didn't do that great. Obviously, Carlo Ancelotti has left, and Rafa Benitez came in. Obviously, a lot of Everton fans are quite annoyed with that, as I've seen, but I think he's still a good manager, and I do understand in some sense why they be annoyed because of what he said back then as a Liverpool manager about saying, Everton's a small club and that. But with him coming in, I think he'll do good. I do rate Rafa Benitez as a manager. Also, he used to manage Liverpool, Newcastle back then in the Premier League. And coming into this Everton team, I think he'll do pretty good, I'm not going to lie. I would put them in a higher position, but one thing with Everton is their signings haven't been that great this window. With the signings coming in with Townsend, Begovic and Demarai Gray, it's not really promising signings whatsoever. And if you're an Everton fan, you would want someone a lot better than that. Even someone like Rafinha. I mean, he would be so good for Everton, but it's a thing where Everton have not really done a lot in this window. That's the reason I'm going to put them into 9th position. Calvert-Lewin, I think, was still banging goals. I don't think as much as he did last season. I think this season he won't score as many, but he'll still have at least double digits. 8th position, I'm going for Spurs. I think Spurs are in a very sticky situation at the minute, and obviously this does concern about Harry Kane. And I think Harry Kane obviously is one of the best strikers there is obviously out there in the world, of course, but something tells me something's going to happen this season with Spurs, especially in the dressing room. Nuno's come in, obviously to replace Mourinho, or even say Ryan Mason, but I don't know how this is going to go for Spurs. This could go really bad for them. I'm not going to lie, this could go really bad. I think he will stay throughout this window. However, I don't see him being in a way where it's going to go very well in the dressing room especially. I think overall the reason I'm still saying they'll finish 8th is because they've got a good enough squad to not go below that position. One signing they're also going to be making, which is a big signing, is going to be Christian Romero. I've heard people talk about this to me, and I've seen clips of him, and he's been a really solid defender for Atalanta. Now coming in 7th position, I'm going to go for Arsenal, and in my opinion, that's a good bit. I'm not gonna lie, I think that's not even a bad position anymore for them. I would put them in a lower position, but the reason why I put them in 7th is because they have no European football to really focus on. So their main focus could be literally on the league. You can say the League Cup or the FA Cup or whatever, but in my opinion, they've got to focus on the league. And I think their squad's still not that great, and I think they're still going to finish 7th. I don't see them finishing 5th or any higher than that whatsoever, and I think somewhere like 6th might be still a bit too high. Obviously David Luiz is a player that's obviously left Arsenal. Willian, I don't even know what's happening there now at the minute. If he's there, he's still there, then fair enough, but he's kind of just useless in my opinion. Aubameyang, not too sure if he's going to be able to deliver. In my opinion, I don't think so. I think he's not even going to get like 10 goals. I think he's going to score only 8 goals. I see Aubameyang leaving Arsenal after the season as well, to be fair. I'm not going to see him signing a new contract or anything like that. I don't see it happening. With this defense, obviously they did bring in Ben White, which was needed. They need to bring someone like Ben White in who's actually a decent enough defender. And I do rate Ben White. I remember as a Chelsea fan, I remember being linked with him, and I was thinking like, you know, well, I wouldn't mind guessing him. But the price tag was a lot, and that's what kind of put me off. The issue is with me is still Leno in goal. He's a good keeper. He does make class saves here and there, but when it does come to, you know, a lot of games in the season, he makes a lot of mistakes. Emi Martinez, in my opinion, is the better keeper, and they've let go of him. Despite signing Ben White, I don't see the defense still being that solid. Bellerin isn't that great, in my opinion, any longer. Tierney is still good, in my opinion. Gabriel, still not sure about him. People say he's still like very good, but I still don't know how to feel about Gabriel. Obviously, Ben White will be a good signing in my opinion. I don't think he'll be that bad whatsoever. I think he will be one of their better defenders, which you could say is not even that hard to be fair. Xhaka was a very interesting one because he was apparently meant to leave Arsenal, and it was almost certain, you could say, joining Roma. He was meant to leave, and all of a sudden now he's apparently going to be signing a new contract. I think he's a good leader, but again, he's just so rash with some of the things he does on the pitch. Smith Rowe, this could be his season. He could be a really good, promising player. He is a promising player, and I think this season he might actually turn up really well for them and get maybe even double digits for goals, and maybe get like half, like maybe like 5 assists or something. He might have a really like a decent enough season for Arsenal. If they're gonna finish 7th, I do see someone like Arteta leaving the club. I do see him getting sacked. This could go really bad. But I'm confident in this. I see Aston Villa getting 6th position. Their signing's been absolutely mental, by the way, with the likes of Buendia coming in, Danny Ings coming in, Leon Bailey coming in, and someone even like Ashley Young, who could bring a lot of experience to this team, and is a leader, by the way, too. They've got a really good transfer window so far, and the reason why I say so far is because obviously they did lose their best player, which was Grealish. Obviously he did go to Man City for 100 million. They could easily get someone like Ward-Prowse coming in. They could get someone like that. Still think the defense could be a bit shaky. In my opinion, they've got a really good keeper though. Emi Martinez, I do rate him a lot. I think he's a very good keeper. Their midfield is pretty decent. McGinn, don't forget about him. He's still a very solid. I think Danny Ings coming in is actually a good signing. And people say, oh, Watkins now going to be pissed off because he won't get game time. I think he will get game time. Simply because Danny Ings, first off, is injury prone. And I think them two will push each other. Meaning they will, you know, get better. Because they want to push themselves to becoming better so they get more game time. Not fully focusing on Grealish on the ball and having it spread out to all players. That could be a big factor for them. And I think that's what's going to happen with them. I think they're going to have a really good season. 5th position, Leicester. I think Leicester are a team that is going up each season. The past few seasons though, obviously they have like literally like full-on bold Champions League spots where they're like 3rd for majority of the season and just somehow ending 5th in the league. But again, I see it being 5th, but I don't see it in a way where they were like in the Champions League spot for like so many months and then just ending up missing out. I do see them fighting for like 6th to 5th and then they managed to get 5th position. I think that's how it's going to be. I do think though, Brendan Rodgers has done a really good job with Leicester, in my opinion. He's done really well. Now, they did bring in a certain player by the name of Samari? I don't know how to say his name. But he's a French midfielder that came from Lille. And another signing they also brought in was Patson Daka, which also could be a very promising signing too. Now, in terms of game time with Jamie Vardy, I think he's going to still have a lot, don't get me wrong, but not as much as maybe as the previous seasons because of his age. Fofana did get a big injury, and I hope he does obviously fully recover from that ASAP. Obviously, Maddison coming in, which has been very kind of injury prone last season, you could say. And obviously Jamie Vardy or Patson Daka. I think Jamie Vardy is the better player, but when it comes to him not being fully fit, Patson Daka will come in and really take charge. I think he will do well. I do see him being a very promising impact super sub. I see that happening, to be fair. So I'm going to say 5th position for Leicester. They narrowly missed out on Champions League yet again, but I think the point difference between 5th and 4th might be quite big. I think it'd be a big point difference. I'm saying 10 plus points. That's what I'm predicting. Now, the team that's going to be first making in the Champions League in 4th position is going to be Liverpool. They did lose Wijnaldum, which I think might be a big loss for them. He's a player that's box to box, very energetic. He does really good. Even though stats with the goals and assists might not show that, he is a very good and he's a very well-rounded midfielder. With Van Dijk, I think it's going to have to make, and I think a lot of people agree with this, he's going to have to gel back into his team. He's not going to be able to be fully fit, so it's going to take time for him to really get himself fully recovered into match fitness and being at the level where he was 2 seasons ago. With Konate coming into the team, I think he will do good. I think Konate will be a very good signing. I do see a few mistakes coming in from him, in my opinion. I think he'll still be a good centre back, making a lot of tackles, but I think he's going to have to adapt to the Premier League, and I think he will, but it'll take a few weeks, if not a few months, for him to really fully adapt to the Premier League. And I think, with that being said, I think 4th position is where Liverpool's going to finish off. Their front three, I think Mane will be scoring goals again. Not as much as he was 2 seasons ago, but a lot more than what he was last season. Because last season, he knows himself. He did not do good. He wasn't getting as many goals as he should be. And yeah, I think this season he will step up again, but not as much. I think around like maybe 12 goals, maybe he'll get around in the league, or maybe even like 12 to 15 goals. I think that's what he's going to get. Salah, I think will still keep banging in the goals. Not gonna lie, I don't see any real difference from him right there. Fabinho, I think, might have a really good season as well. To be fair, I think he's gonna have a really solid season. With Robertson, he did get a nasty injury, Robertson, but I think he's meant to be back. Not when the season starts, but a few weeks after that, he should be okay, I think. Firmino, I think, will drop off massively. I don't see him doing good whatsoever, and I've seen a lot of Liverpool fans saying that they need to sign a striker instead of Firmino. Firmino was more of that false 9, giving it to Salah or Mane, helping them out more than himself. But I still do think they're going to have to get a proper striker in there. And I'm going for my club. I'm going for Chelsea. I'm going for my club Chelsea, which is the team I do support. I think Chelsea are going to finish 3rd. Obviously, Champions of Europe from Chelsea in the 2020-21 season. The points difference between Chelsea and Man City will be close. I can definitely see that happening. I reckon the point difference between the 3rd position to 1st position will be at least a 6-point gap. I don't think there'll be any more points than that. Lukaku, I'm expecting 20 goals in the season, because the thing is, I could easily say that he won't do that, but he's been the Prem before with the likes of West Brom, Everton and United, so there is experience with him, and him come back to the Premier League where he wants to... He's going to have the mentality of having an unfinished business with Chelsea, and I think that's going to motivate him to really push himself to at least getting 20 goals. However, I don't think it's enough for Chelsea to get 2nd or 1st position. So, I'm going to say 3rd. They could get Koundé in. If they do sign Koundé, good signing. But it's not going to be that much of an impact, in my opinion. So, I'm going to say 3rd position for Chelsea. I could easily say Chelsea win the league. But I'm going to say 3rd because I just feel there will be moments in the season where it could let us down. And being teams that we should be beating. But instead we bottle it and we just get like a draw or lose the game. I see that happening. Now on to 2nd position, and now obviously when I say this team, it's going to be obvious who's going to be 1st. It's also between the 2 Manchester clubs, and I'm going for Manchester United to be 2nd position. Now, they did bring in Sancho and Varane, huge signings, and probably 2 signings they need to really make to really improve this team? Obviously, I would say it would be most likely, and it has to be Maguire and Varane as the two centre backs. Lindelof will be dropped. Not saying Lindelof's been that bad, but in order for them to win the league, they're gonna have to improve that centre back partnership, and Varane coming in, that's gonna be a huge bonus for them. And in the right wing position, they have to play the likes of Greenwood, but in my opinion, Greenwood is a striker. He can play right wing, don't get me wrong. He has played right wing and he's done a good job. But in my opinion, going forward with United, I think Greenwood has to be the striker. And I don't think it'll be for this season. I think Cavani and Martial will still be the ones, but Greenwood has to be the one where he'll still get a lot of game time. And in my opinion, I don't think Martial's going to have a good season just like last season. Cavani, I think, is going to still score goals. In my opinion, he's that kind of player where you can just rely on because he's got that goals in him. And I think he will still deliver. At least 15 goals is how many goals he's going to score. It depends how much game time he does get. And I think if he's going to be the out-and-out striker for Man United, he's going to at least get 15, if not 20 goals. You know, fuck it. I'm going to say 20 goals. I'm going to say Cavani's going to score 20 goals. Despite his age, he's still got the experience. He knows where he's got to be. One thing about Sancho is I don't think he's going to have the impact straight away. I think it's going to take time for him to deliver. But with Varane, I think Varane's ready for the Premier League straight away. The thing with Pogba is, you know, during this window, it's been said that without a doubt he's going to be joining PSG, most likely. But at the end of it, he's staying. Well, by the looks of it, I don't think he's going to join PSG. And I think he will do good. However, I do think it's his last season with United. Fred doesn't cut for me. I don't think he's good enough to be in a team where they can win the Premier League. Right back, Wan-Bissaka. And then obviously left back, Luke Shaw. Still feel they need some kind of like depth in there, especially for Wan-Bissaka, because there was times last season where they didn't really have a really backup option for Wan-Bissaka. And as you can tell, it's going to be Man City that's going to be first. Man City just have so much depth that I just don't see them missing out on the Premier League. Their depth is crazy. Like, you look at their attack, Grealish, Sterling, Bernardo Silva, Foden. Even De Bruyne has a false nine they could play. Gabriel Jesus. They've got so many, and there's probably even more that I probably forgot. Did I mention Mahrez? I don't know if I mentioned Mahrez or not. Overall, with their team, with the depth they've got, they have to win the Premier League yes again. However, what I would say is though, the point difference between the first place to third place is going to be at least 6 or below, and second place I think might even go down to the last day. That is my overall predictions for the Premier League. I hope you guys have enjoyed this video. It's a video I'm obviously going to look back on and react on when the season does end and see how well or probably how bad I did with these predictions. If you guys have not smashed the like button, please do so. It would be very much appreciated. Do subscribe if you're new here, of course, as it does help out the channel massively. Enjoy the Premier League. I'm excited for it. I'm sure you guys are excited for it too. Smash the like button, subscribe if you're new here, and have a good one, boys. In a bit, and I'll catch you guys on another video or live stream. I don't know what it is. But yeah, take care, boys, in a bit.